Hello again, YouTubers. This time we are doing a long-term review of the Estes Proto X. First thing I'm going to start off saying is, with this, you are going to need extra parts. I have one brand new set of motors, a used set of motors that still had life on them, propellers, motor holders or motor mounts, if you want to call them that, propellers. Just with these nano copters, extra parts are a must. I even have an extra canopy that goes on top. Couple of things about it. If you have a problem with binding it, take your controller and move the stick all the way to the throttle stick all the way to the right and slowly give it throttle until it just turns on, and then back off, and then take your other stick and go left and right. It takes a second to get it just right. See how the blue light's just that? It just calibrated itself. It calibrated itself to the surface that I was just flying on. So if this was a completely level surface, it will be calibrated. Now this isn't, so I'm going to have to set trim. Cool thing about it is the blue LEDs. I have crashed it multiple times, and this is also the third set of motors I put in it. Still running on the blades that came with it, but I'm gonna have to order some new ones because, as you can see on that one, the tip is broke off. The lights. The lights are probably the best thing for orientation, because if you have the blue facing you and you have these two little eyes, you know that if you push forward, it's going to come towards you and everything's going to be backwards. And it's it's very easy to fly inside. Outside, I do not recommend it, because you can very quickly get above the transmitter's range, and then all of a sudden it's just going to come crashing to the ground, and then you could break a leg. Yes, they can be fixed by scraping the coating off and soldering the lead, and then using some Gorilla super glue and gluing it, but still, why take the chance? Inside, I average 5 to 10 minute flight times depending on how hard I do it. I will admit, I'm going to shut the lights off. Just to go over the lights quickly, it has on the front, it has 2 blue on the bottom and 2 blue on top of the PCB board to give you sort of the eyes, and then in the back it has 2 at the top and 2 at the bottom, so you can clearly see the bottom. Other than that, the main thing is you're going to need extra parts with this. You're going to need propellers. Definitely propellers. Definitely motors. You have to know how to solder. The soldering points are right there and right there for every single motor. Right there and right there. Right there and right there. I know the Cheerson CX10 is actually 5 millimeters smaller, but the connection points are right next to each other, so the likelihood of having a short circuit and blowing your PCB board or frying your PCB board is very likely. One thing you really have to remember is this is a nanocopter. It's not meant to go outside. It's not meant to have... Make sure when you're flying it that ceiling fans are off, because they will make this thing drop, and then you got to give it more gas, and that'll use up more battery. You can upgrade the little battery, but then you're carrying more weight, and these propellers are not held on by anything but friction, and some of them, like this one, just pops off very easily. And sometimes if I gas it really hard, and if I throttle it up really hard in flight, I had a propeller that would just fly right off. So I quickly, if you pinch the propeller, the base of the propeller where the hole is, it'll actually make that hole a little smaller and it'll fit tighter. So that's what I do to mine to make it fit better. Lastly, the charger that comes with it is this little wire charger. After a lot of charges, I guess the balancer goes out, and I had one that actually went completely overnight. Thankfully, it did not damage my Proto X, but now I time it 30-minute charges at a time, and that gives me the same amount of time because I had timed it before I had this problem, and it was usually between 25 and 30 minutes every time. So I just stick to 30 minutes to make sure I have a nice good charge, and that gives me over 5 minutes every time. And honestly, 5 minutes with such a small electronic device is pretty good, especially seeing it's only $20. And the Cheerson CX is also $20. And the Cheerson CX10 uses all the same motors. The PCB, I don't like how it adds plastic because that just adds weight. This one is just a PCB board with a canopy on it and a battery. So, I mean, there's no extra weight. Everything has been taken off so it can fly good, and, I mean, it weighs next to nothing. A couple grams. I would say probably, I don't know, 25, 30 grams. Maybe 40. But overall, a very fun little toy to have. If you are going to give it to your child, make sure you have extra motors, or you have the ability to order them and put them in yourself. It's not hard to do. I was actually trying to go with a completely blacked out theme, but my two front black props, basically I'm running short on props, so I got to order some, so I'm having to run with the stock setup. So I'm going to leave it at that. But that is a long-term update. You can also see on the little electric point where the charger connects. There's a little bit of degradation, but not much. It's a little dirty. Nothing that can't be fixed with a little Scotch-Brite pad, a 3M pad, or some emery cloth. And always fix and find out something. But overall, very fun little toy. Very cheap. Once you get it dialed in and once your child learns it, I guarantee you they will have fun. Well, I mean, what is there not to have fun? I mean, it's so small, and then once you can really learn how to control it, it is very fun. And I've learned how to control it to the point that I can race with it, so it's very fun. So for now, I guess this will basically be the last video for this, unless I do a modification to it if they come out with brushless motors for it, which I highly doubt that because the built-in ESC or whatever the hell inside that makes the motor spin. Probably can't take brushless motors because you have to have 3 wires instead of 2 because it works. The difference between brushless and brush motors is brush motors uses straight DC. Brushless motors uses a type of AC current, and that's why it has 3 wires. It sort of goes up and down depending on how much throttle you give it. The more throttle you give it, the higher the frequency of, it's basically pulsing between the 2 wires. You have a ground and then 2 positive wires instead of 1, and it goes positive back and forth between those 2 wires depending on how much throttle you're wanting to give it. And some of them are even censored, and that's I have a Hellion Dominus, and I'm probably going to go with a censored one to make sure that I don't blow out the motor and make sure that it's always working well. But as for this video, I'm done. If you have any questions about anything that you see in my videos, don't hesitate to ask or comment. But if you hate, I will ban you quickly. So So, again, peace. Comment below. Subscribe if you want to see basically random reviews of things that I get. Peace.